Hi, I'm Patty Otter, and I'd like to introduce you to the Moore model. While represented in two dimensions on paper, the reality is the model is in constant motion, with the center being the stable base, and the point from which specific outcomes will emerge and move on from the first ring to the next and then to the next. Let's begin with the center, which represents the suck, swallow, breathe synchrony. This is a primitive but functional pattern at birth, which quickly evolves into a muscle synergy as it is used during feeding, breathing, crying, and non-nutritive sucking. Once activated, the muscle synergy drives the development of range, balanced stability and mobility patterns, and strength, with ever-increasing refinement and elaboration of the skills as they develop. It appears that suck requires a seal, meaning the tongue against the roof of the mouth, which when repeated results in the formation of a vacuum. As the strength of the suck increases, so does the strength of the vacuum. This in turn provides increased ability to resist any attempt to break the seal, thus driving the development of the musculature and the ability to develop the more distal musculature of the mouth and face. Swallow requires the synchronization of 26 muscles and the integration of 5 cranial nerves and 3 spinal nerves, which overlap with some of the muscles and nerves used in producing a suck with a seal and a vacuum. The ability to produce the vacuum accomplishes 3 things: moving that which is to be swallowed into position, triggering the swallow, and initiating the pause in breath. Respiration and the ability to increase capacity and then develop grading of depth and rate contributes an essential element of biological rhythmicity, which in turn helps develop stability in sleep-wake cycles, feeding cycles, patterns of arousal and attention, self-regulation strategies, and styles of learning, memory, and behavior. As the synchrony evolves into muscle synergy, it provides the foundations to build connections to the outer circles of development, reflecting refinement and skill development. The second ring of the proposed model may be viewed as the immediate and primitive functions of the suck-swallow-breathe synergy, essential to survival and development. Arousal. The infant uses the suck-swallow-breathe synergy to regulate arousal, to establish and support simple biorhythms such as sleep-wake cycles, hunger satiation, action-response learning, etc. Psychosocial development. The suck-swallow-breathe synergy is critical to successful bonding with caregivers through the process of expressing needs and having them met, establishing predictable patterns of behavior, etc. Postural development. Postural development is dependent on the development of the musculature of the suck-swallow-breathe synchrony and then synergy, which helps to create a balance of stability and mobility along the midlines of the body, the mouth, arms, trunk, and legs, and at major proximal joints, the jaw, shoulders, and hips. The third ring reflects the elaboration of function that occurs with organized and continued use of the suck-swallow-breathe synergy, as well as the refinement and elaboration of functions of the second ring, which will provide access to and the foundations for the elements of the third ring. For example, bottle or breastfeeding evolves into more oral motor coordination, allowing facial expression to develop into nonverbal communication. Gradation of airflow leads to vocal play and development of speech sound production, as well as the ability to add volume, prosody, and emotionality to the voice. Repeated use of the suck-swallow-breathe synergy develops the muscles of the neck, eyes, and ears, making it possible to hold and move the head so as to focus, track, and locate both visual and auditory stimuli. As posture and movement skills improve, the infant adds sensation from the mouth, hands, and body senses, the muscles and joints, to develop an increasing repertoire of oral, hand, and movement self-regulation strategies. Through oral exploration, additional information from vision, hearing, and more advanced movement skills, the baby learns about spatial relationships. The fourth ring of the model represents increasing levels of refinement that take place based on the elaboration and refinement of the suck-swallow-breathe synergy and the second and third ring components. The development reflected in the rings of the model occurs against a background of physiological, health-related functions that are also significantly influenced by and affect the suck-swallow-breathe synergy. We may consider this the background beat for development. For example, being able to use our two eyes and our two ears together. The ability to use the musculature of the suck-swallow-breathe synergy to clear the ears, to prevent ear infections, and to clear the nose, throat, bronchial tubes, and lungs to maintain respiratory health. To manage age-appropriate quantities and types of food and fluids. To be able to move solids and liquids through the digestive tract and eliminate waste regularly in appropriate quantities and form. Dental health and development requires a suck that both widens and drops the palate at a rate to accommodate erupting teeth. Suck, bite, and chew develop enough tone, strength, and mobility in the mouth and cheeks to define the space in which teeth can grow in a reasonably straight fashion. To clear food so that the enamel on the teeth remain healthy. Create enough saliva for managing food and the motoric control to swallow it regularly. To get the jaw organized enough motorically to achieve proper and consistent occlusion. The model is fluid, in continual motion, and requires consistent return to the center for setting up the conditions to support initiation, control, skill, strength, and endurance in any of the outer rings.